So much my gut. And we're live.
We need like intro music.
We do. We really do. We need intro music. I can't wait till we have fire backgrounds.
I know.
Like, it's coming, people. It's coming.
We'll get it together, people. We will. We promise.
But yes, we are one team member short today. Lear Jetta, he is going to be missed. But the show, as we always say, must go on. You know about this, Tiffy G, because you in show business. You've been.
I know. Well, yeah. I mean, you got a 1 man down, 2 man. You still gotta be in it. Gotta be in it to win it, like a lotto.
This is very true. You ain't lie. This is very true. So, oh, you can hear. Oh, hey, Bren.
Hey, Bren, what's up? I called you and you never called me back, but it's okay.
What's going on?
It's okay.
Now stay logged in.
Right. She's like, I'm out of here. They saw me. I'm out of here.
So, guys, we have a great show for you today. Lear Jetta will be back next week with us.
Yes,
but, one time it was just me and him. Now it's just me and Sis. We keep this going because we also appreciate that you guys every week are supporting us and are tuning in. We see the numbers,
yes, we do.
Just for the three of us, we've been pulling in 50 views and stuff. So that is a lot, for just coming out the gate. I'm very excited.
Yes, I am too. This is very exciting.
Yes. So today we are going to be talking about something that honestly you don't really need to have a business or be building a brand to really relate to today, because we are all in an ever-changing market. The landscape, as they say, is changing. And so we're going to talk a little bit about how do you grow, how do you expand your brand in an ever-changing market. It's amazing. We know change is natural, but it's just amazing how literally 2020 to now, it seems like the world is just a different place. I don't know. How do you feel, Tiffy G?
No, yes, very much so. It's like literally we woke up one day and then we had to really just sporadically adjust our whole lives. So, and I know it wasn't easy because, we're moms, we're parents, we're single people that are trying to be out here making a way, making a living, and we're still digging out. So, yeah.
This is very true. This is very true. So, I got some stats. I got some stats today. Let's get into everything. So, some of you are a little young, but for some of us that are, 80s and 90s babies, some of y'all will remember Virgin Megastore.
I used to work there for like a week.
That's a story for another day.
That is a story for another day, but go ahead.
Some of you remember Blockbuster Video. Our mama would drag. We would go there all the time.
And I was about to say, we lived there with mommy. That was
we
second.
Did. We lived in a Blockbuster. But these are now relics because I think there's one now, and now it's become like a historical landmark. There's one Blockbuster store still standing.
There is?
Yeah, I believe, I forget what state it's in, but there's like one Blockbuster store. But like Blockbuster is no more because the landscape changed. They went from video rentals to we stream all of our music and our video content.
Right.
And Virgin Megastore, for those of you who don't live in New York, because it was, I think it had other locations, but it was a very big New York situation.
Yeah, I think they had one on 14th, like in Union Square, and then they had one in Times Square.
Yeah. But Virgin Megastore was it was when we used to still buy physical music.
Right.
We don't buy physical music anymore.
No.
But I bring these up because with new things that happen, some changes, it'll never go back to what it was. So this landscape changed. And there were survivors, but unfortunately, those two were not part of that team.
Yeah.
Some things in a changing landscape do remain because they learned how to change with them. Barnes and Nobles, we know, has been holding on. And holding on pretty decently. It's not like a JCPenney. No shade.
Yeah. Even though I'm wondering how they survived all these years, because I was like, who was shopping at JC? Like,
Oh, that's true.
you
JC
had
Penney.
Kmart, you had at that time, I think, remember Alexander's?
Oh yes, we used to go to Alexander's.
So I don't know.
I don't
JC
know.
Penney was like, I don't know. I think they're like, what is it, Mattress Firm, where they allege like Mattress Firm.
Yeah,
They're embezzling stuff.
it is true. You
It's
are
like a
not
decoy.
telling
I
me
don't know. Yeah.
I have no idea how Barnes. Well, we are going to learn a little bit. We see how Barnes and Noble stayed in the mix because as of
Mm-hmm.
July 7th, 2020, there were 614 Barnes and Noble stores in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
By 2022, Barnes and Nobles, they actually they agreed to be kind of like acquired. They were bought out by
Mm-hmm.
a company, is a UK company, is a firm called Elliott Advisors Limited.
Yes.
And they
Mm-hmm.
were bought for $683 million. And as of 2022, they had 598 stores still. So
Okay.
even in the pandemic,
Yeah.
was huge. Even with, honestly, digital media taking full, like most people don't buy, a lot of people just don't buy books. I mean, that's actually how Amazon got to start, selling books.
Yeah.
Once
Yes.
we had the Kindle, once we had our cell phones, the iPhone,
Mm-hmm.
people read everything they need to read a lot of the times on a digital device.
Yeah.
But somehow, some way, they have been able to maneuver still
Mm-hmm.
having brick and mortar stores.
Yeah.
And so that brings us to, just because the landscape is changing, you're able to grow and expand within
Mm-hmm.
reason with the changes. It doesn't have to be a Blockbuster situation or a Virgin Megastore where you just become a dying breed.
Mm-hmm.
So that brings us to our first question, which is, well, since we're ladies,
Mm-hmm.
this is a good question for us to answer. Is bigger always better? Tiffy G, we're going to delve into
Yes, it is. It is. No, no, I'm joking.
Let's explore both sides of this.
Yeah.
So, have you grown your business? So that's the expansion part. Have you grown your business and why? And then on the flip side, how have you made reductions? Because like we mentioned, Barnes and Nobles, their stores were reduced and they actually decided to allow themselves to be kind of brought out.
Mm-hmm.
But that still allowed them to survive. So they go into the future with less, but they're still here.
Yeah.
So let's get into that. First answer, have you made changes in your business, seeing how the landscape is changing in society in ways that you have decided to grow your business?
Yes. Originally, when I started at Beauty, I was very much into just the hair aspect of it, like just selling wigs, selling hair pieces, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And then, just within what I was doing, again, if you are establishing a business, it's brand integrity, it's understanding, what are you going in it for and what is your vision? So I was like, okay, I do overall beauty. Although the focal point is hair for me,
Mm-hmm.
I do overall beauty.
Yes.
And I think the totality of that for most women and men in this day and age is a complete look. So if you can get a great wig and you can get your makeup as well and an outfit, perhaps, it's the completeness of it for a lot of people that I felt is more marketable. Mm-hmm. So then I thought, okay, I should expand. I should expand outside of that because I, in my craft, I've expanded outside of just doing hair. Definitely. And you know that I started off with I just do the wigs or I just do braids and showcase that. And then it became an evolution again with what I was seeing. Mm-hmm. And, people weren't just featuring just the wigs. It was like the whole look of it, the whole feel of it. You wanted to evoke a mood. Mm-hmm. So then I expanded to doing makeup. So then I'm like, okay, well, if I'm doing all these expansions on a personal front, then my business, again, I feel should be a reflection of the things I'm passionate about, because that's what I'm in the business for, the experience of what I do and sharing that with people. Mm-hmm. And that went beyond just selling hair. It was like I wanted to give the fantasy from head to toe. So if you go to my website, I didn't want you to just see wigs. I wanted you to see makeup now. I wanted you to see styling tools. So that if there is a look that you've seen, you are able to either recreate it or there's things there to help you get something close to that same effect.
I love
so
that.
That's kind of like the evolution for me within my business, within my brand, and deciding, you know what, I'm not just going to pigeonhole myself because, you know, this is where I started and this is what I have to do. When I see the evolution around me, you know, you have to some degree keep up with your competitors and, you know, put yourself on that front line as well. And in order to do that, you have to make sacrifices and you have to do the thing.
I love that. I love that. I love that. One, you actually grew into your name, All Things Beauty. You know,
right.
It's not just one aspect of the beauty regimen. You know, our hair, for many people, man or woman, in all honesty, is your crown and glory.
Yeah.
But you realize that there's a complete, like you said, look. And so your
business. Look. Yeah, it's a feel. Like if you just put on a wig in a beauty supply store right now, it can look fantastic. But now if you say, oh, let me get that At Beauty Lust lip gloss and put that on. Let me get some lashes. And then it's like, it all comes alive. You feel different and you exude differently. So I wanted to give that. I wanted to be able to have a website where it's like any other beauty supply store. You don't just go in a beauty supply store and ever just see one thing. Unless it's specifically a hair store.
Yes.
But in a beauty supply store, if I'm representing myself as such, I'm going to represent it to the degree of every other beauty supply store I go in. I know I'm going to get pomades, styling tools, you know, you name it. So
exactly. And you know what? I love that you say that because even as you're talking, things are coming to me in terms of we should think about these for our businesses, for our brands, and even for yourself if you are trying to change careers or just, you know, growing maybe your career, or even people we love the buzzword diversify your income and things like that. I love the fact that you mentioned how you allowed the customer, the All Things Beauty customer, to have basically maybe not one-stop shopping, but there's so much variety now. That makes sense. Because when we talked about a minute ago, Barnes and Nobles, it's kind of like our case study. One of the things that Barnes and Nobles did that was new when we were younger, now everyone does it, but it was much newer, which was the concept of they were one of the first companies to partner with like Starbucks, where you got that. I'm going to go to Barnes and Nobles. I'm going to look at magazines. I'm going to read books that I'm actually not going to buy. But you would also go to the Starbucks that was built in Barnes and Nobles. And it was like a whole thing. I remember so much like just going there, and you could spend like an hour and they wouldn't kick you out.
No.
Just
cough squat on the floor at a table.
It's almost like they always, you know, supermarkets and even the places, it's like that add-on. Like you have add-on shopping. You give enough variety where it's like you can get something out for the customer other than just the one thing that they are going for. As for me, I'll say I've expanded, and how I've expanded my business, I would say is not what you may expect. So I do sell a lot of different products.
She does, guys. And it's exciting.
Thank you. I sell a lot of different products. But I would say that I believe my expansion is really I decided to branch off and actually decide to brand myself in terms of quality, the level of quality I want to provide for the customer. So within my industry, people are used to buying pre-loved. People are used to like sustainability, but I wanted to give them an elevated experience of shopping those kinds of wares. And I sell things that are new, but I really wanted to expand people's understanding of what it is to buy pre-loved, to know that buying pre-loved doesn't have to mean that it's obvious that it was pre-owned.
Agreed. Yeah.
And so everything is tissue wrapped. Everything that I do, I expanded the care that we give to each item. So every item is, if it's possible, washed in the washing machine. And on top of it being washed, it is then steamed so that we get the chemicals out. But also that's like a second step of, you know, doing some kind of sanitation to it and just reviving it. I'm about to invest in actually some special there is a European line of laundry detergent that's quite expensive, but I've seen the results from other people who do but it really revives the separation and color of the garment. And so I say this because you can sometimes expand not just in a way that customers maybe can see it, but it's also expanding in what your brand maybe stands for and the quality that they are expecting. So it's like everyone can just go to all things beauty, you know, in terms of like going and getting a wig and going and getting a lip gloss. But what matters is sometimes how much you put into going the extra mile. So like the tubes are different. You know, the experience is elevated. So I think that is a way that everyone can think about, you know, like back in the days, for those who were going for jobs, we used to care about the type of paper our resume was on. Like that was the next step. You know, now no one cares around paper resume. But it's all that whole thing of expanding. You know, you can expand in the quality, sometimes not just in physically. But how is a way that you have reduced maybe in your business or like cut things in your business?
Like what you just said, just being very specific about, okay, just because I am a beauty supply store doesn't mean I want to house just every and anything, because there's several pomades, there's several brushes, there's several wigs. But again, it's like you said, the integral part of it is identifying what do you want your brand to represent? Like, how are you presenting the things that you're selling? Is there any connectivity to you and those things? Because I think that's very important, you know, and that, you know, makes a difference in sales and things like that. People can tell when you've taken the time to say, I'm going to curate this collection, or I'm going to sell these particular types of clothing or items. It shows, as opposed to, we've gone to the dollar stores, but we've also gone to, I'll just give two. We've gone to Dollar Tree, and then we've gone to Jack's, or we've gone to Lotless. They're still selling discounted items, but there's still a caliber that's a little bit above the other. There's an attention to detail in what we're selling against Dollar Tree. So it's the integral part of that within your business. And sometimes like this, like you said, I don't need to have 1,000 items that I don't really stand behind. I could have 50. And I know those 50, if I'm really behind those and I know that it's quality and I've taken the time to source these things, you'll stand behind that, and more than likely those things will be more successful, I feel, in your business than you just saying, oh, I just want to sell just to sell, just to have numbers. Because like you said, it's not always about numbers. The functionality of a business sometimes is not about how much, it's what it is. Like, what are the things? Are they worth selling? Are they worth people buying? You know? So
this is very true. As for me, in terms of now the flip side of what have I reduced in my business, there are actually brands that I almost rarely or never sell. It's not because I can't make
Landon, what's going on?
A profit.
Go ahead. You got to give me a second though. Sorry, guys.
No, it's okay. Mom,
you're not going to be able to reach it. It's in the top closet. I'm almost off. I have like 10, 15 minutes.
This is real life, people, and it's really live.
Yeah. And even though I told him I'm going live, you know, kids.
Well, yeah. He's like, so where's that in the closet?
He said, where them honey buns at? Because
exactly.
I'm gonna need that right now.
But I've reduced my business in terms of what I would not do for $1. You know, like, and I think that's very important. Everything that you can make money off within your business, within your niche, doesn't always mean that you should make money off or go for that, just because sometimes, is it worth it, and does it tie in with your brand? Does it tie in with, you know, the true goal and the true image and culture of the business brand that you are trying to build? You know, just because you can doesn't mean you always should. And so that's how I reduce, is that everything is not sold. KM Style is not an all things in terms of like every single thing sold here, any brand. We try to keep a little like, you know, you have not made the cut. Just so we can have a brand identity. So now let's get into our second question, which is principles versus progress. So what we mean by that is, it kind of goes with what I just started talking about, which is the principles of your business or brand are oftentimes very tied into and define the identity, how they people identify your specific company or brand, or even you.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tiffy G mentioned, we have these stores like Lot Less, we have Dollar Tree, we have, Jack's. There's quite a few. I know in the West Coast they have called the 99 cents always store.
Mm-hmm.
$50, another one. All of these stores fall under the umbrella of a off-priced retailer. You
Mm-hmm.
can find some name brand things. You can go there and find Dove, soap. You can go in there find some kinds of little cute things for the house. Like, we're all familiar with these things.
Mm-hmm.
But each of them is unique in what is really their identity.
Mm-hmm.
When you go into Family Dollar, you do not mistake it for a Dollar Tree.
No, you don't. You don't.
The presentation is totally different. How you think about it is totally different. The same as also Target. Target is an exact perfect example.
Yes.
Where they sell a lot of things that these stores sell in terms of laundry detergent, things like that. And they sell things at a discount, but they have so far passed.
First of all, that's Target. It's not Target.
You are absolutely right.
They have really gone up.
They're almost in a class by themselves.
Yes, they are. They knocked Kmart out. They knocked Kmart clear out.
And this is why I love that you mentioned that, Tiffy G, because this is why we're talking about this.
Yeah.
If you do not change, and like there's a phrase, I was hearing it last night and it reminded me, read the room.
Mm-hmm.
In your industry, in your business, whatever you're going for, you have to read the room. Kmart did not read the room. They stayed looking old and tired.
Before Target really boomed. Yeah.
Target came on the scene and came with a fresh look, came with a different concept of like, we're going to just have a little doll with a bullseye. And I mean, we're just going to, and they don't even use that anymore.
No. They pull him out on special occasions now.
Yes. But this is what we mean by your identity. It matters so much because
it does.
Principles versus the progress, because you got to change. But there should be some things in your business that you don't outgrow, or you don't just, again, chase the dollar for and sacrifice for. So the question is, how do you grow? Because we all need to grow and not sacrifice your brand and business identity. How do you really balance that out? So do you want to take this?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of what you said. Just, it's almost like we talk about soul of a person. Mm-hmm. When you are very clear, or you have a good understanding of what is the direction of your brand, even within competitors, even within the changing market, there'll be an integral part of you just not compromising that. And you'll still have that understanding. Just like a human being, we grow, we evolve. Things grow, things change, things evolve. But now, because I'm growing as a human being, doesn't mean I'm going to change my whole personality and then I'll be unidentifiable. You want to still maintain identifiable. There needs to be something that's still reminiscent of you in it. If it's your brand, I want people to know this is at Beauty.
Yes.
Whether it's my house brand or whether they've just purchased, they know that she curates a specific way, or the way the aesthetic of her brand looks. That's an integral part. We know it. We can identify it. That is the genius with Target, like we said. Even with Kmart being around, they understood, we're coming and doing the same thing they're doing. But you know what? If we brand it this way, and like we said, we are sticklers to that, even though we can bring in things that are new elements, we can change within the season, certain looks to our brand, you still know it's Target. So that's the main thing, is identifying with your brand. You have to identify with your brand, and you have to be very particular about understanding what you're willing to compromise within that and what you're not. And then the main question is, in you changing things, is that cutting into the aesthetic of who your brand is, the identity of your brand? If the answer to that is yes, no.
Definitely.
The answer to that is yes, is no different than when you're sure, like we know if we're sure about something, we go into a store and we know what we want to buy. We
Yes.
don't second guess it. We buy it, right? You're
Yep.
like, okay, I'm going in
Yes.
to get it. So it's like the same behavior needs to be placed upon your business. I know who I am, or I have a for the most part, understanding of what I envision my business to be. And even though there's all these moving parts
Mhm.
around me, we have to understand sometimes those things aren't even going to last forever.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
even worth you risking it on the hope that
Mhm.
that new introduction is even going to be something that's sustainable in the industry. It's
Yes.
like stock. You can buy into a stock and hope it does good,
Mhm.
and all
Yeah.
the numbers at that point can say it's doing good. But who's to say a month from now? And then you might alter yourself in such a way where now people are like, oh, well, we thought you were like this, and now you kind of represent yourself like that. And now
Mhm.
who are you?
This is
Or
very.
now you're that kind of brand where you're like, you just go with the flow
Oh
of
yeah.
everything.
You can't.
So
You can't move. You can't go with everything.
right.
I love what you said. I think that sometimes it's hard. I will
It
say that
is.
sometimes it's hard to maintain your principles for your business
Mm-hmm.
while maintaining momentum within
Yeah.
your business. Um,
Yeah.
I think that the best way I'm trying to address it, and I've seen other success stories address it,
Mm-hmm.
is you should be able to see your business kind of like being in an ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And being in the ocean, you have to oftentimes don't fight the tide. Don't fight the flow. So
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Tippy G. You should have a defined brand identity that
Mm-hmm.
you say this is going to be consistent. So that's
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm going to be in this ocean in my boat.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't getting out my boat if I can help it.
Right.
That's your business. That's your brand. But there are times when you should it's calm and you can forge ahead, and there's times when you have to just move with the waves, move
Mm-hmm.
with the flow. That's how you'll survive.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is very important in life, and I think especially for business and branding.
Yeah.
Because there's some things that we're guilty of this. Everyone who starts off is guilty of this. It's your baby. Your
Mm-hmm.
business is your baby. So sometimes you're so into it that it's so hard for you to let go of some aspects because that's not what we do anymore. And
Mm-hmm.
some companies, we bring up Kmart. There are many companies though that it's sometimes they're slow to make changes that it's not taking away from their brand at all. It's just
Mm-hmm.
this is a new way, and you have
Yeah.
to embrace the wave. You have to
Yeah.
embrace the tide. This is the
Yeah.
new rhythm. This is the new way. And if you keep fighting it
Yeah.
because you're mislabeling it as your brand, as your identity, you're going to drown.
Yeah.
You're going to drown. I am still trying to really get a hold of social media because social media has nothing to do with the brand of my business. That is
Yeah.
a necessary component of just having a business now.
Yeah.
And some people, they're like, oh, but my brand is this. And no, every brand must use the tool of social media.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. And to
Yeah.
fight that is
Yeah.
silly.
Yeah.
It's
I
just,
was going to say that. Yeah, it's like the technological side, really,
Mhm.
you do have to kind of concede because that's just like you said, the trajectory of life,
Yeah.
civilization. So you don't want to be in the Stone Age and everybody's progressive and they're like, oh, well, we're
Mhm.
digitally just, so you,
Yes.
you have to know, like Kim said, you have to know when to cast the sail this way and
Yes.
when you can just be like, oh, I'm good. I'm
Mhm.
fine. And it's not a necessity to do that. It's cool. And that might generate more money. That might
Mhm.
generate more traffic. But again, is that going to be really compromising to me or my business? And
Yeah.
again, if the answer is yes on any level, because we're
Mhm.
not in the business of compromising, we're in the
Yeah.
business of growth.
Exactly.
And we're going to take natural hits, and that's fine. But I don't want to add by just
Mhm.
trying to follow a trend. That's
Exactly.
not something I have to do. This is not technology. It's just like, oh, they're selling these boots, So,
Exactly. And to
yeah,
and to drive it home a little more, so maybe it's a little more simplistic. Let's
yeah.
look at just really quickly. A good example of this is, again, we're going to look at JCPenney real quick.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why is because one of the actual biggest problems for JCPenney was the fact that they started something that was good in the beginning.
Yeah.
That was coupons. They would always
Yes.
have these coupons where you can double
Yes.
it and triple it, and you get always 25% off. And it just became more than just something cool aspect of it is it became a big defining image and
Mm-hmm.
perspective of how the shopper saw them as a business. And
Mm-hmm.
so what we would like to leave with you when you think about what you're building, and this is also just if you're changing careers or even in your career, if something you're doing was great in the beginning, it can then be something that will hurt you later
Yeah.
on, just because, again, the room, everything has changed.
Yeah.
For J.C. Penney, it was great when it was in the 90s.
In the 90s, yeah.
Awesome. People
Yeah.
liked getting a bargain that way because it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't common, and their competitors, it just how the landscape was, it was a great thing.
Yeah.
But it became their downfall, and they're still climbing out of it because now it is so defined them that now that they don't want to have coupons every single week, every day,
Mm-hmm.
customers don't want to come to this store and see regular prices,
Yeah.
market prices.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you have to look at your business, is that there are sometimes things that you're bringing into your business that you have to take out and can't make it fully define you, because sometimes it's just a tool and it can't be your brand. Because if
Yeah.
it becomes your brand, it can help you in the beginning, but it can work against you when you need to pivot because the
Yeah.
landscape has changed.
Yeah.
And the landscape has changed. We have like Target, we have Macy's, where they are selling similar items, but they have a more polished look. So it's like, well, if
Yeah.
I'm going to go to, let's take a brand that both of them would sell, like a Ralph Lauren. They both was
Mm-hmm.
no Levi's.
Mm-hmm.
This is how, and I hope whoever watches this, they will get something out of this, because this is
Yes.
how serious business gets. And
Yeah.
it could seem so superficial. If you are
It
hung
is
up,
a lot of the time.
exactly, thank you, Tippy G. If you're
Yeah.
someone who's hung up on the superficiality of
Yeah.
human behavior, you're not ready for business, because that's actually a component that you actually are either going to foster or
Mm-hmm.
you're not, because you
Yeah.
ain't changing human behavior.
No.
I say that because there are many people who, if they need Levi's jeans, they are going to go to Macy's to buy that Levi's jeans, as
Mhm.
opposed to J.C. Penney, where they could buy the same Levi's jeans. Do you want to know why? It could be as simple as when they walk out, they'd rather be carrying a Macy's shopping bag
This is facts.
than
Yes.
a J.C. Penney shopping bag, because status-wise, it just looks better.
Yeah.
That's
In
how
the house
simple
of
it can be.
cards, they're the king and queen. They're the king and queen.
And then
So
they have the same item being sold. It could come to something as
same
small
brown
as,
bag too.
yes. But if you're gonna pay full price for some Levi's, $49.99, I'd rather go to Macy's.
Yeah. It's just fresher. It's just a
Exactly.
fresher take. Like JC Penney is, you never think fresh. Even, me,
Yes.
and I've never been a consumer of JC Penney, but from what I remember, it has this very, like we said, circa 1990s energy
Yes.
to it still.
Yeah, it's
And
very
we're now in
stale.
2022.
It's
It's like
very
you're,
stale.
yeah, there's no evolution. There's not even we don't, like, you don't see anything. You don't
Yes.
see anything that's exciting, like it's fresh, a fresh take on JC Penney.
Yes.
So
You're
yeah.
absolutely right. So we hope that helps you guys, because we just really want you to understand that, one, change. The reason we brought this topic, this Sunday, is because as you're building and just continuing in life and whatever you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
there's a certain amount of change you have to embrace.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. And it's better if you see it and understand how to, for your personal, preferences, as well as what's best for your business, your brand, maneuver it, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to thinking, oh, well, I just have to have the best product. Or,
Yeah.
oh, I just have to have something that's hot now. What's hot now can change.
Mm-hmm.
It can change in 6 months.
Change in a week.
Exactly.
With this time.
Exactly. You're so right. So you have to really take into account how the changes, you will make them, and some of them you don't need to make, but you have to be open to always looking with fresh eyes at
Yes.
your business. You have to.
And at the businesses around you, because
Yes,
again, those
that's
clue
true.
you into sometimes the turn, especially established businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Keep a keen eye. Not to say you have to emulate or direct copy or anything, but have an understanding what is going on in my market, what's going on in other markets, because some markets you might be able to incorporate that in yours to develop it in a better way.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah.
very true. That's very true. That's why we're bringing these different stores up. They're not actually, I would say, direct competitors for either of us.
Yeah.
But it is very important to look at just other companies that have gotten to certain degrees of success and just learn from the triumphs and the failures and be like, oh, wow.
Especially the ones that's been around for a while, because they're doing something. They're still around. Trust me. They're doing something.
They're doing something right.
Legal or non-legal.
TPG, you're always bringing us a story.
I mean.
Another day. We keep saying we got to do our after-hour show one day.
We do. We got some cool things coming, guys. We got some cool things coming. Just stick with us. We promise you won't be disappointed.
Oh, yes. Particularly, Tiffy G is relaunching her website. I cannot wait.
Yes, guys. If anybody has been on my site, thank you, sis. If anybody has been on my site, it is under a super transformation. I'm making it real easy for you guys to navigate, real efficient, like any other shop you've gone on, because I was aware, again, we talk about awareness of your business, always be aware of your business and the things that can be improved, the things that can be changed. Don't fight against that. So I have some great looks coming for you, new items coming, all of it. So
I'm so excited. I want y'all to be excited because we're going to do a huge push for that when it's ready to launch. It's looking beautiful.
Yes, I'm really excited. I'm proud. We spoke about that.
That's how you want to be.
Yeah. I'm super pumped though. But yeah, I mean, we say that all to say, again, we're being real. It is a labor of love. It is time consuming, but anything that you're going to be passionate about, guys, that's always, the give and take. Mm-hmm. That's what we can say. It's always going to be the pros and cons. But again, if you're in it for self, if you're in it to identify with, this is something I really want to do, you're going to, it'll seem taxing, but at the same time, it's rewarding. And I'd rather be taxing and rewarding than it just be tiresome. And I'm like, I don't want to be doing this. I hate this. And
this is So that brings us to our last question. And it's more of, now we're going to give you, like we love every single episode that we do. Oh, from my mouth to God's ears, I heard myself say in season. And I was like, yes, I like that.
Come on, season.
You got to have us back for seasons, guys. See? We love to then really get into the nitty-gritty with our own businesses, because again, like Tiffy just said, it's a labor of love, and we're bringing you guys on this journey from very much, now we're ready to kind of like, we're in the state of, now we're training for our Olympics. We've done the practices, we've done the other things. Now we're all in it. Yeah. Myself, Tiffy G, Learjetta, we're at the stage now that we're going for gold.
Yes.
And so you're on this journey with us. And so our last question that we're going to answer is, we're going to get a little specific. What changes do you specifically now for your industry? What do you see happen in your industry? And what is your game plan?
Honestly, for me, I'm trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not doing I'm really trying to work on things that are evolutionary, inventive. It's I'm sorry. Oh, I thought that was me. Yeah, it's just really bringing forward something fresh and something new. But of course, I'm going to bring you all the things that are staples, the things that are required, the things that are, y'all want.
Yes.
But I'm really about taking it to the next level of beauty. And that's why you'll see me do a lot of fantasy sometimes, because like we said, you have to be aware of where we're going. We're already in 2022.
Yes.
And we know a decade, 5 years goes like that. Imagine how people are going to look, the beauty industry is going to feel and look then. So I'm projecting, okay, how can I be ahead of the curve with that? How can I invest in things that, are going to be innovative in my market?
Yes.
Because I think if you're more on the lines of the future of it, like a healthy balance between the future and the now.
Yes.
That to me has more sustainability. So that's my hyper focus, like really just always at the table, like, okay, what is the industry doing? What are people coming out with? What me on my end, what can I maybe invent or come out with that's innovative.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be something so minute. It could be just, we see it all the time where people just advance something that's already existing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one little thing and it makes the world of a difference. You're like, oh my God.
True. Those are some of the best inventions is those little tweaks. And you're like, oh,
why didn't I think of that?
Crazy all this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's very true. And I love that. I love that. I love new. I love like the next thing. I always embrace that just because I do believe very much in advancement. For myself, for Cam's style, what I see in my personal industry of particularly reselling, that's the industry that I reside in, fashion reselling. I see that I'm like Tiffy G, going to go for doing something outside the box.
But inside the box.
Yes, it is. Cam style box, guys.
There you go. That's a tagline, sis. We outside the box, but we inside the box.
Exactly. I want to bring basically something that I think is no one else is bringing in the market. I think when you think of reselling, you think of either very expensive, kind of like the Real.
Yeah.
And Rent the Runway.
Yeah.
Or you think of eBay.
Yeah.
And you think of Poshmark and Mercari, you think of that. Or Tradesy even, where it's either really high or really low, you know?
Yeah.
And it's very just like a huge scavenger hunt. And I decided I'm not going to do either. I'm going to do something new. And so but I see the reason why I did that is because I spoke to Tiffy G, or as I call her, Tiff.
That's fine.
Before we started this, I was telling her that for a couple of years now, I've been looking at my industry and I've seen that as it currently is, there's something about it that's not sustainable, you know, because so many of us are nameless. Yeah. And we don't have a brand identity. We do it, but we're not a brand. And so I see that as a problem because I don't think that in itself is sustainable.
Yeah.
Because if people can't say, oh,
this is
all things beauty. Oh, I immediately have an idea of what that means.
Yeah.
I wanted that. I want that. And I'm going for that because that does have a lot of weight in society. Right now, if you were to play, even though they have had trials and tribulations and their numbers aren't as great as they could be, the Gap is one of the best branded companies ever. The reason why is right now, if you were to play a Gap commercial, a brand new one never aired, you would know it's a Gap commercial before they ever say Gap.
Yes.
It has a look. There's a certain way they understand their look, their vibe, that play it, people are like, oh yeah, it's a Gap commercial.
Yeah.
Even with how the music choices. And so that's how powerful brand identity is. And so I do think in my market, there isn't much brand identity.
Yeah.
And so I want to address this. So that's what I'm doing. I'm building based upon addressing the lack of that.
I love that. And I love that because you're doing essentially what I said. You're being innovative within your field because, we know there's resellers all around.
Yes.
But again, like you said, identifying yourself from the herd, making yourself very signature in it. That's huge. Yeah. Because we do it for the passion, we do it for the love. Why not get recognized for it? Like, it's time you're putting in. So yeah. If you want that, because I know everybody's different. This is another thing. You need to know where you want to be with it. Be honest. Be very honest with yourself because some people aren't meant for the star of it all. You want to sell, and some people just want to sell and they want to be behind the curtain. I don't want any recognition. I just want to do it. And that's okay. But like I said, really understand where you're at with it, what you want to do with it, and be unapologetic about that.
Yes,
that's it.
That is very true. Because you have to choose the path that is right and be honest with your path that you want to go down and stick with it.
Yeah.
So, guys, we want to always open it up. I know that we've had quite a few people actually came in and were watching. I don't know if everyone is still here, but does anyone have any questions for us? Any comments? It can be individually.
Yeah.
So we're going to open that up for a little bit before we close it out.
Yeah.
But I did see Mo, I did see Brand, I said Mom, I saw Robin, I saw quite a few people
Yeah.
join in. So, we love having everybody.
Yeah, don't be shy, guys. Don't be shy. It's a platform for any questions you have. It doesn't have to be business related.
Yes, this is very well said. Very true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope that even if, again, like we said, this is one of those great episodes that even if you're just like looking for a new job in an old
Yeah.
job and are just thinking of ways to maybe shine because it's very competitive now more than
Mm-hmm.
ever,
Mm-hmm.
to stay on jobs and just like make sure that you're an integral part.
Yeah.
That's the scary part of working from home for many people is that they won't have that face time,
Yeah.
in front of bosses, in front of, their boss. And so it's like, oh, do you fall and fade in the background, honestly, for the
Mm-hmm.
convenience of being, a work from home employee.
Yeah.
So, always be thinking. And that's what we want you today to always be thinking about like how you can be branding yourself a certain
Yeah.
way, and gearing yourself up to look at your industry, look at your specific segment. And
Mm-hmm.
like there's always changes happening. Sometimes they're small, and it's good if you're on the front side of that as opposed to the back.
Yeah. Well said. Yeah.
So, but if there are no questions, uh,
No questions. No,
I
you're making me sad. There gotta be one question. But y'all like us? That's messed up. I'm gonna just shout. I'm kidding, guys. It's fine. It's totally fine.
maybe we cover so much. They're like, oh, y'all are thorough.
Yeah? Well, then dust our shoulders off, sis. Let's go. But yeah, I mean, you guys got it. Me
Mhm.
and sis, this is a little off topic, but I'm huge about identity, like I always say, of self
Yeah.
and soul connection now. I think that has government over a lot of things that seem
Mhm.
hard to decide on.
Yes.
But I think if you really are transparent with you,
Mhm.
and I know that can be a scary thing, like Kim said, I know it could be scary confronting those things because those things sometimes and a lot of times mean breaking old patterns, breaking
Yeah.
old habits. And that can be scary, but I want y'all to trust you,
Yes.
trust your intuition, trust that
Mhm.
desire that's deep in, because that is the soul of you, that's
Mhm.
wanting to get out, that's wanting to express really your path and who you're destined to be. And
Mhm.
those things will change your life. I'm a living testament. My sister's a living testament. When you take that leap, when you say, this is against all the odds, or this is
Mhm.
against everything that I was told not to do,
Oh yeah.
and sis knows,
Yeah.
but you step into it and then it fulfills you in ways you couldn't imagine. So I know that might sound corny to some, but I'm speaking very honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it sounds like one of those.
No, I love it. I love it. And I think it's not going to sound corny. I think that that's something that needed to be said because, you know, at the end of the day, you can't build anything that's inauthentic.
Yeah, yeah,
We're talking about building. Now, we're not talking about replicating. We're not talking
right.
about copying somebody else's stuff. If you're really trying to build you up as a brand and just build you
You as
up
a person.
as a
Yeah,
person, and you're also maybe building a business, um, yeah, I agree 100% with Tiffy G. It is something that you have to be come into it authentic and be willing to really look authentically at you. And
yeah.
yeah, oftentimes there are changes. There are changes
Hmm.
that have to happen.
But I promise you, if it's really of you, and again, if I'm not trying to get preachy or faith, but if you
Mhm.
introduce that element into it,
Yeah.
y'all know when you've opened it up and it's for you, because it
Hmm.
will be for you. It's
Yeah.
reserved for you. It doesn't matter how many competitors. Don't focus on how many people in your industry are doing the same
Mhm.
thing. I promise you, there's a space for you.
Yes. Very
There's
well said.
a space for you. So
Well said.
I'll just leave it at that.
I love it. I love it. And I think that's the perfect way to end this show. Yes,
Yeah,
that was very well said. So,
yeah,
guys, thank you though for your watches. Please
yeah,
like, share this,
yes.
so more people can hear this great content.
Yes, and hopefully soon, guys, we will be on YouTube. We'll be transitioning
Yes,
soon to YouTube. So, yeah.
yes. Oh my goodness, we have to get it together.
I
I can't
know.
even speak on it anymore because Tiffany G knows.
I
My
know.
pet peeve is saying something and not doing it yet. I
Yeah.
started becoming a mute. I'm like, nah, nothing to talk about now.
Exactly. I'm not even gonna mention it. Just the next time we'll be on YouTube. But yeah.
But she's
Yeah.
right. It is true. We're gonna get on there soon. But we
Yeah.
thank you for watching, and until
We do.
next Sunday at 5 p.m.
Yeah, yeah.
Have a beautiful Memorial, guys. This is Memorial weekend.
Stay safe out there. Don't eat too much and shoot a gun. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
We're trying to get a season out of this.
It's getting crazy out here, guys. Y'all know I'm trying to go to the gun range. Who going with me? That's what I would do.
They're gonna be knocks on the door, but like this. We got 50 views, but they're gonna be 50 men in black talking about, hello, are you?
Hi, how are you?
We're at Queen's house.
Huh? Who? That's my straw man. I don't know who that woman is.
All right, guys. Until next week. You know we love to also crack up.
I know.
We hope y'all enjoyed this, and we have gotten great feedback. You guys are having a great blast with us because we're having a blast with you.
We are, and we appreciate again y'all for watching. We really do.
Awesome. All right. See you guys next week.
Later, guys.
Bye.